Donkey Kong Land. Never mind, he's dead. Not a lot of people played this one. Actually, they did. It sold around 3 million copies. But compared to Country, it's really nothing. I didn't even play it until now, and I'm a huge Donkey Kong fan. What is wrong with me? I've recently beat them all, and I just wanted to talk about them, so let's do that. And we're not even a minute to the video, and me, the content creator, has already lied to you. I haven't beaten the last two. The first Donkey Kong Land game is the most unique one. Every single thing is different. The second game is pretty much just a revisit to it. They kind of use the same layouts but move things around. And while the third game does have new levels, it kind of just reuses all the assets. While we will be talking about all three of them, this video is going to be majorly about the first one. Because is it good? Yes, absolutely. The first game really does just feel like another entry in the Donkey Kong Country series, but it's smaller and compact. It has new enemies we haven't seen before, new mechanics we haven't seen before, new levels we haven't seen in any of the Donkey Kong Country games. Like, I only have one major complaint about this game. It's on the Game Boy. Wait a minute. I really wish this was just a console game because the camera and limited screen is just very infuriating at times. It's not completely terrible. Some of the levels are designed around it, but I mean, it can be pretty bad at times. And I know I said there was just one major thing I had an issue with, but I unfortunately just lied again. There's another one. The controls don't feel like Donkey Kong Country. It feels very slippery, and if you go from Donkey Kong Country to this, it does not feel the same. But the game is still playable because it's not different in a bad way. It's different as in it's literally just kind of different. I got used to it after playing for a bit, but I really wish it was just the original controls. So yeah, the only real thing objectively bad about it is that I don't want it on this. I want it on this. Anyway, let's dive deeper into the game, shall we? The level design is brilliant considering this thing runs on this. The game visually looks very good considering it's running on a Game Boy. Like, this is incredible. I think this might be the most graphically intensive game on the Game Boy. Like, I can't think of another game like this. It's using 3D rendered sprites and it's running. Like, how is the handheld not exploding? Some of the new enemies they added that aren't in any of the other Donkey Country games go from really cool to like, yep, that's a flying pig. The new mechanics that aren't in any other Donkey Kong game are also really cool, like using the Kong letters to make a platform, to whatever the hell this is. Honestly, out of every level here, the only level I didn't like is this one with the mechanic I just hated on because it's just weird and gimmicky. It doesn't feel good to play. This is the only one I think is a bad level. Like, look at this. What the hell is this? The music is compressed as all hell, but it's still really good. They did an amazing job on this. I mean, the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack is obviously better, but like, they still did really good on what they could for this tiny ass handheld. As previously shown, this game has a lot of new zones that haven't been seen in any of the games before, like this clouds in the sky and this city, which is just awesome. The city reminds me of Donkey Kong's Origins. Yeah, this is a city, if you can believe it or not. The bosses are just bosses, but they're kind of funny because of how small they are in comparison to everyone. Even K. Rool is small. He's tiny. Poor guy. I want to talk more about this game. I really do. But like you saw at the start, this game is smaller than Donkey Kong Country physically and digitally. I pretty much talked about all what I can. There's only like 4 worlds. I beat this game in around 2 hours. It is a very, very small game for very, very small men, such as myself. That's pretty much Donkey Kong Land. A very great game. If you like the Donkey Kong Country games, you would like this one. Now get this out of my sight. Donkey Kong Land 2. Remember I said I would talk about the others? This one's kind of like a port, kind of. It has a very similar level structure, and even a similar level count, and even the levels are mostly named the same except for like 2 of them. They have pretty much the same theming, but it's kind of moved around. It's hard to describe, but if I were to describe it, it's basically like they recreated Donkey Kong Country 2. It does literally fix everything that was wrong with the first game. Like, this actually feels like you're playing a Donkey Kong Country game on a handheld. Like, the controls are pretty much 1-in-1. But I'm not really sure if there's a reason to play this when the original is right there, and it is a much better game. Like, it's obviously a good game, but like, man, just play the Super Nintendo version. It's my favorite game. Just play it, or else. Donkey Kong Land 3 is pretty much not a port. Every single asset in this is ripped from Donkey Kong Country 3. Every single level in this is different. Even the map is different. It's basically just like an expansion pack to the third game, which is honestly awesome. They really said, you like this game? Here's more game. Even the boss fights are different. Like, they're pretty much the same boss, but the fights are completely different, which is really, really cool. This game also has a time trial mode, which is awesome. Why didn't the other games have this? Why didn't they do it until this one? That would be such good replay value. We're like, what? If I were to recommend these games to anyone, I would say play Donkey Kong Country first. All 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. And then once you're done that, if you really like the games, play Donkey Kong Land 1 and 3. And then if you really, really, really want more and you're desperate, or you're bored or something, then play Donkey Kong Land 2. These are all good games and they're all different. With the Nintendo Switch 2 coming around, I do wonder if we'll be seeing another Donkey Kong game soon. Because it's been quite a while since we've seen one, and I'm a huge fan. That's why I came to play this one. Because I've never played these games until now, and I enjoyed every single one of them. And with that, I leave you on one more note. I fucking hate Chunky Kong.